Hey, good morning. Today is day 18 of my 100-day challenge. And today is going to be a little bit silly, perhaps, on the surface, but it has a lot of meaning, so stick with me. Today, I want to talk about a couple things that I have learned from my flowers. So, as I've mentioned in the past, a couple weeks ago, my mom passed away, and I am in the grieving process of that. And one of the things that I did in the beginning was I went and I bought some flowers for myself because I needed something to help brighten my spirits. And I also needed something to tend to. It's kind of like a lot of people who rescue a dog, they say that that dog rescued them instead. And even though this isn't quite that level, it's still the same concept. So I knew that I wanted some sort of life in my life. And I wanted something colorful as well and something that I could take care of. So a couple weeks ago, I bought some flowers and I bought 3 different kinds. And one is smaller and orange, and one is bigger buds and kind of like sunflower colored, like a marigold color. And those ones are very like strong and firm. And then there are petunias, which are a very delicate flower, and they're a deep purple. So I have 3 different kinds. They're all different kinds. And this morning I was looking at them, and I like to talk to them because I believe that I'm transferring love to them. I believe that anything that is living does better when it is receiving love. So I talk to them just like I would talk to a human in a loving way. And so anyway, this morning I was hanging out with my flowers and I was thinking about the lessons that I have learned just in this short amount of time. And so I want to share those lessons with you and also talk about how they apply to us as humans, right? Because we're all the same. We're all living things. So the first lesson that I noticed is each one of these flowers, they are all very different. Some are stronger. They're all different colors. Some require a little bit more, but they are all beautiful and they all bring joy to me. And you know, one flower might make someone else, might be more appealing to one person, and one flower might be more appealing to another person, but they are all created evenly. They are all equal. They are all beautiful in their own special way, just like you and I are all beautiful in our own special way, right? We all have different gifts that we can serve different people. And just because one person doesn't like us, that doesn't mean that you are damaged. That just means that that person, you're not right for that person. But there is a whole bunch of other people that will love you just the way that you are. So that was the first thing that I think that is really meaningful, that we are all created beautifully in our own individual way. And we can all bring joy to different people. The second thing that I learned or that I've noticed or thought about is, I kind of hit on this before, but flowers, in order to grow, they require sunshine. Not all flowers require sunshine, but these particular ones do, and most flowers do. So they require sunshine, just like we do, right? We feel better when we're outside. We feel better when we are connected to nature, and that is because we are of nature. We are all of one source. We were all created by the same creator. So we feel better. It's better for our soul when we are outside in nature, when the sun is shining on us. That is just a fact. If you are feeling down or lacking energy or feeling depressed, slowing down and getting outside and just sitting in the sun and closing your eyes, it feels so good for your soul. Just like it helps to nourish a flower. The other thing that flowers need, of course, is water. Similar to us, we need water to help us grow, right? And to just maintain our bodies, to live and be strong. And the last thing that maybe we don't think about so much is what I talked about before. Flowers flourish with love, just like we flourish with love. There have been actual studies. I know this sounds kind of weird and I might lose you right here, but there have been actual studies that showcase flowers or plants that have been spoken to lovingly, flowers that have not been spoken to, and then flowers or plants that have been spoken to in a negative way. And chemically, you can see the difference. And physically as well, you can see they bloom better. They look better physically on the outside, but also on a molecular level, you can see the difference. There's also an experiment with water as well, where they do this, where a bunch of scientists got different types of water from all over the world. And the water that came from like natural springs had very pretty molecular shapes, whereas the water that came from sewage had broken, dirty, they looked really gross under a microscope. But by speaking to these molecules or this water in a loving way, it actually changed them on the molecular level. So love is so important for any living thing, and we are all living, and plants, animals, everything. Love is just so important for our happiness, for our well-being. It's so important to love yourself so that you can love others, so that you can pour into others. So just like plants need love, just like we need love, everything around you needs love. So love yourself so much that it comes out of you. And even if somebody doesn't appreciate your love, then that doesn't matter, because you have so much love for yourself that you can protect yourself, and you can still love that person, but you're not hurt by them not loving you, because that's more of a reflection on them than it is on you, right? And the last thing that I realized or want to talk about with flowers is their cycle of life. So like I said, I bought these flowers about a month ago, and one of them is much smaller than the other. The little orange one is much smaller, and it requires more water, and the sun was hitting it more. And so a couple weeks ago, all of the buds were dead. And I was like, oh no, all the buds are dead. This is my first time with flowers since I was a little kid with my grandma's. And I was like, oh no, like, what do I do? And so I just tried to remember back, and I cut off all the buds, and then I talked lovingly to it. I put water, and I made sure to water it twice as much, because I realized, okay, these buds are drying up, so it needs more water. There's adjustment period, right? So that's just me on me. But I was just hopeful that they would flourish again. And so I really tended to it. I really cared to it. And I go outside the other day, and there were little buds, and they were green. And then a couple days later, they started to sprout. And today there are like 5 bright orange buds. So they came back, and they're now beautiful and flourishing again. And so there is a natural cycle of anything that is living where death, or there is a down period, right? It's the season of life. There is a fall, there is a winter, and then that lends into the next season that is a spring and a summer, the harvest, right? So if you are going through a hard time right now, that is a natural progression of life. That is a normal thing. We all go through hard times. But just because you're going through a hard time, or just because this is a newer hard time or harder than the normal things that you've gone through in the past, that doesn't mean that your life is always going to be hard. That doesn't mean that you can't get over this thing. That doesn't mean that you can't flourish again. It is just a part of the season. A lot of times when we are growing, when we are uncomfortable, those are the hardest times, when we feel so bad. But it is the things that are happening within us, the strength that we are building, the perseverance that lends into us sprouting beautiful blooms and flourishing and having that harvest, and having our summer season, back to our good times where we are happy and loving and receiving. And so that is just a normal part of life. So don't get stuck in that hard season. Acknowledge it and honor it for what it is, but look past it. Understand that after this hard time, better times are coming, and they're on their way, and let that light fuel you to give you inspiration and motivation to get past this hard time, this challenging time. And also take steps, take actions that you need to do to help yourself get past it. So like I said, I bought these flowers. It was a small act, but it has helped me. It's helped me a lot. So there are little things that you can do to kind of set yourself up for success even through these hard times. But your blooms are coming. Your summer is coming. You just have to dig down deep. You have to nourish yourself. You have to feel the sunshine, love yourself, take care of yourself, and good times are coming soon. Just like everything in life, you know, we go through falls, we go through winters, the different seasons. This might just be a bad season in your life, but it is going to change soon. So just hang in there, my friend. You've got this, and do what you need to do. That is what I have learned from my flowers, and I hope that you learned something from my flowers. I would encourage you to just go outside, sit down, and just take it all in. You know, we live such fast-paced lives, and it's so refreshing and so nice to just sit and be one with nature. So remember to keep showing up for yourself no matter where you are, because if you show up for yourself every single day, there is nowhere that you can go but up. Thank you so much for showing up with me today. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.